the board of board of chair Brandon Simmons said in a statement, Texas Southern University's board of regents is committed to taking every opportunity to elevate the university. What does that mean? What does that mean? You have vacancies across the board. You have so the board and Dr. Kevin Granger are aligned on being holding strategic moves in decision making in the rest, but still no decision has been made. So there's a whole lot of rhetoric, but the bottom line decision is, what is Texas Southern going to do? The board of regents, they excited about new leadership's bold strategic movement, but they still continue to delay this decision. There's a lot of rhetoric, and I can read you all of the words, all of the stuff that's come across on Twitter, but I don't know if that would be any. But I don't know if that would be of any benefit. What is Texas Southern going to really do going into a critical part of football recruiting period? So you've seen a lot of that. That's news of the day. There's no specifics to it, Dr. Cavill, Chuck, but what is Texas Southern going to do? Is Fred McNair going to be that person? It's been rumored or reported that, Fred McNair is, he's resigned his position. He's available. Is he going to be that person? But still no decision has been made. So to me, that's my news of the day. It's a big question mark. It's a question mark wrapped in an enigma. What is Texas Southern going to do?
Hey, great question. And I wish I'd known. I will let y'all know, but I don't even know in regards to what's going on in terms of that decision. I guess we'll be able to park that and save that and get some dialogue, because it sounds like there's some feedback and people's thoughts on that. What was fascinating to me, we did a show on Tuesday. We were looking for what could we discuss. And usually you have the year end that you discuss, year ending news, who had great cycles and things of this nature. This was Tuesday. We kind of heard a meeting was going on with TSU Thursday, had maybe a little bit of information out there, depending on who you looked at, maybe in terms of Willis Simmons. But for the most part, all that was quiet. You didn't know anything. So it was amazing to me, literally, in a week's time, what has taken place. And it seems like, you talk about a new year, it literally seems like it was a year worth of news packed into 1 week. So it was just hard to imagine. Things started off on Thursday with the decision of Texas Southern to defer a decision. And just when you get lathered up and you hear reports going out, what are people's thoughts on that? All of a sudden, you have the dynamic dropping in terms of Coach Willis Simmons. So I was like, wow. I'll add this part of it because in a lot of ways, this got lost. But it's pretty big news as well. Mickey Joseph has Jason Rollins. And for those that have followed HBCUs, remember that Jason Rollins was defensive coordinator for Southern University under Coach Odoms. He took over the leadership role in terms of interim position for a year, could not quite make it through the year. And they actually brought in Eric Dooley to replace him. But guess what? Eric Dooley is going back to Grambling as well. So both Jason Rollins and Eric Dooley to Grambling's coaching staff. This is from HBCU Sports. For the position on his coaching staff, new Grambling coach Mickey Joseph has filled in with names that will be particularly familiar, as I just broke down. Joseph recently let the proverbial Jaguars out of the bag when he indicated during an appearance on talk radio station 93.7 The Ticket in Lincoln, Nebraska, that Jason Rollins would be his defensive coordinator. Remember, Mickey is coming from Nebraska, where he was a coach there, ended up being the interim coach for a short period of time at closing of the seasons. Rollins served as Southern's interim coach in 2021 following Dawson Odom's departure to Norfolk State. In 2023, Rollins was an assistant in Terry Bowden's staff at Louisiana Monroe, which also included former Grambling head coach Roderick Fobbs. According to Lincoln Parish Journal, former Jaguars coach Eric Dooley will be Tigers' offensive coordinator. For Dooley, it will be a return to old stomping grounds, as he previously served in the role on the coach Broderick Favre's staff from 2014-2017. Dewey was Southern's head coach for the past 2 years, compiling a 12-10 overall record and 9-6 mark in the SWAC. He was fired November 4th after a 5-5 start. Those said that he preferred coaches with SWAC experience for his coordinators. When it came to coordinators, I want guys who coached in the conference, Joseph said, because they know the conference, end quote. Very intriguing in terms of him going that direction. A lot of people that know a part of it. You got to believe a lot of folks that want to prove themselves.
Yes, sir.
In a different manner. And so it's going to be fascinating in terms of what that looks like. You tie it all together because you heard Dawson Otis, Norfolk State name in there. Well, guess who kicks off the season in the MEAC SWAC Challenge next year? Norfolk State and FAMU. You don't even know who the head coach that's going to be. So that's fascinating news for me in regards to what that looks like. And so as the world turns and look at HBCU sports, as we would like to turn the page to basketball, I'm not sure if we can quite do that yet because it sounds like the world of SWAC continues to turn. And as they say, roughing the SWAC, it is fascinating right there. Mike, I'm going to park it right there. I'm going to give you a chance to get in here and get some dialogue because I do want to take some time and I don't want you to rush through that. I really want to hear your thoughts. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. We'll come back on the other side and we'll break down these news of the day. We'll get you a chance to do a whole segment of touching on each one of these, however you feel in terms of what that looks like. So let's take our first break, come back on the other side, and we can do just that, getting into some deeper thoughts and dialogue. As we get in this year, I would like to kind of hear your favorite moments of the year, but we'll see if we can squeeze that in as well because we didn't get that from you all this past weekend, and I would be remiss if I didn't get you to at least kind of give your thoughts and stamp 2023, because for some people, they certainly want to leave 2023 back over there as they start anew in 2024. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this break, and Happy New Year's 2024 to everybody watching.
We're back. It's time for the 2024 Urban NerdCon. Join us in Atlanta, Georgia, April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel. Special guests include Underworld creator Kevin Grievous, Gary Gray from Fairly Odd Parents, from Nickelodeon, Giovanni Samuels, the Science Machine Michael Green, the Sci-Fi Sisters, and from Spaceballs and Star Trek Voyager, Tim Russ.
Hi, I'm Tim Russ. Join me April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia for the Urban NerdCon. Our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone con. I'll see you there. Live long and prosper.
Visit the
mentoring, life skills for teens, and
The holidays are officially over, and with that being said, it's time for more SIAC action right here on the Black College Sports Network. Alongside the boss man, Roy Evans, I'm Mo Carter, wishing you a happy holidays. Hope everything went well with the Christmas and New Year's holidays. But now that all that's out the way, it's now time for some more hoops action here inside the Knox Wyndham Gymnasium in Fairfield, Alabama, for tonight's game between Albany State and Miles College. Roy, good to see you, man. It's been a few weeks. How you been doing?
It has been, man. We are ready to get going and get back to some great SIAC/HBCU basketball and get things going. Of course, kicking it off here today, where the Golden Rams roll into town to face our Golden Bears And getting ready. We got another one Saturday. Getting ready, man. Getting a little warm up, but we are ready to get into this thing.
Absolutely. I love this time of the year where we literally get those, 2 games in 3 days over the next 2 months, roughly. And like I said, we got it all happening today with Miles taking on Albany State. Miles coming into today's game 7-1 with a 4-0 record. Last time Miles was on the basketball court in SIAC play, they squeaked out a 67-66 victory over Benedict on a day in which they shot 37%. But guess what? The one thing that counted the most was the free throws they made at the end of the game, really around the buzzer, in a one-and-done scenario, and that provided momentum as they went into the holidays, and now they look to remain undefeated in conference play.
Definitely. They're going through our starting lineups now. If you look at that one.
Absolutely. Here's a look at your starting lineups for Albany State. They will go with number 2. That is, wrong roster, everybody. Number 2, Johanna Bell, a 5'5" guard from out of Miami, Florida. Then it'll be number 3, Kyra Patterson, a 5'9" sophomore from out of Atlanta, Georgia. Number 14 on your roster is Elisa Safford. She's from right here in the Birmingham area, a 5'6" junior guard. In the front court, it'll be Yasmin Fairchild, number 22, a 5'11" junior from out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. And also in the post, it will be Milana Holmes, 5'8" forward from Mapleton, Georgia, and she is a senior. On the other side for the Miles Lady Golden Bears, it'll start off at 1 guard. Number 00, Valia Greer, coming in averaging about 14 points per contest. At the other guard position, it'll be Amaya Harris, number 1. All SIAC standout and also in the early running for SIAC Women's Basketball Player of the Year. In the front court, number 22, Imani Williams, averaging about 7.4 points per game. She'll be joined by Tadaria Ashley, number 24, averaging about 8 points per contest. And also we can't forget about Madison Lee, averaging nearly 10 points per game. She rocks number 5. So we're getting ready for action here inside the Knox Wyndham Gymnasium. We want to thank you for joining us right here on the Black College Sports Network, home of so many shows and athletic events that go on, especially right here in the SIAC. Roy and I will talk about all of the lovely gifts that we can provide to you when it comes to HBCU content, whether it's shows, regular content, sponsorships, or athletics.
Listen, we've got a lot of things that are getting ready to start happening. We've got a new app in development, and it's going to be out in the next couple of weeks before the end of the month for sure. We're looking forward to that. We've got some new opportunities for our partner schools and the other places and folks that we work with. So we're just excited about everything.
Yes, sir. So tipping things off for the Albany State Lady Rams and Miles Lady Golden Bears were Madison Lee and number 22. That was Yasmin Fairchild, and the opening tip is controlled by Miles College. So here they go. They'll swing things around. Here is Falia Greer. She'll kick it out over to Amani Williams, and we got a travel. First turnover of the day, and Albany State will take over the possession. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. Coming into this, what do you think it's going to take for first Albany State to get a victory out of this?
For Albany State, I mean, look, it's been a long season thus far. 1-13 on the year, 1-5 in SIAC play thus far. The main thing for Albany State, they've got to find a way to make shots early, because Miles College, in every one of their wins, they have come through with very quick starts, jump out to big leads, and basically put the opponents in positions where, hey, you got to catch up with us now. So it'll be very important for them to knock down a lot of shots early. Yes, I know it's not a packed gymnasium, no school or anything in the mix, but at the same time, they've got to find a way to steal some momentum. But speaking of momentum, here's Miles, and that is Madison Lee coming through with a near steal. Albany State will keep the possession going right here with 9:15 to go. But yeah, as I was mentioning, Roy, for the most part, Albany's got to find a way to really build some momentum early and really get Miles College out of rhythm. So we will see how it goes. Here's a long three-point attempt by Kyra Patterson. Her shot's off the mark. Rebound goes to Madison Lee. They'll get it over to Amaya Harris. Harris is going to push it up court. She gets it over to Amani Williams. Williams goes off glass, scores! Oh, no, they're going to call it a charge.
Oh.
That was a close one. I think it's really more so of the positioning of one referee and the other referee. Honestly, the official who was under the goal actually had the better look, but allowed his official teammate to make the call from the backside.
Definitely. You know already. Good thing this is not a packed gym right now. That probably would be one of those where we hear a little bit.
Oh, you'll hear a little bit, not only because of it being on Miles' home court, but remember, that's that corner where the student section usually will sit once the students are actually back at it, so those Miles College football players and those Greeks and those basketball heads, they would have probably gave those officials an earful of stuff. There's a turnover right here on the previous play, so Miles is back in action. Lady Golden Bears trying to get on the board first. Here's Amaya Harris running the offense. She goes inside to Falia Greer. Greer thought about backing it down. Instead, she throws the ball away, and it's stolen into the hands of Joanna Bell. Here's Bell. She's going to run from left to right on your video screen. She'll kick it out over to Elisa Scaffer. Her shot well off the mark, airballed actually. There's a scrum on the ground, and we're going to have a jump ball. And looks like the possession arrow will remain with Albany State. So little sloppy play, really, between both of these teams. And I'm going to go ahead and just say, hey, look, they haven't played basketball in a while, so let's attest to that probably being the situation, but it can't last for long. Here's a shot that is partially blocked by Madison Lee of Kyra Patterson. So she'll get the ball up court to Amaya Harris. Harris going inside, and we've got the first bucket of the game, 2-0. Miles College on top. Kiara Howard Garza with the bucket. Whoops, excuse me. That bucket will go to Aisha Sharif. All right, here's Miles out front, and they throw it up to Tadaria Ashley, but her shot is off the mark. Rebound goes to Albany State.
Yeah, that was a great look by her teammate, but the problem was she had to gather her feet, and what that did is that gave the defender time to get back down court and get her covered.
And you think about it, that was on a situation where the young lady was out in front of everyone. She decided that, everybody's behind me, let me try to get an off-balance shot to fall, and it just does not go. Albany State misses on that possession right there. They'll swing it out over to Greer, and Greer's going to be called for travel. Took one too many steps on that one. As we mentioned, coming to tonight's game, Albany State 1-13 on the year, 1-5 in conference play, while the Lady Golden Bears, they are a stunning 7-1 on the year, 4-0 in SIAC Western Division play. Now, for those of you wondering how in the world is it just 4-0, well, earlier in the year, Miles did play a few what you would call non-conference crossover games against some other SIAC opponents. Lots of times it's to help the schedule get filled in that situation, and that kind of helped them on the on the overall slate, but not the conference slate. And speaking of helping their team, how about this? Amaya Harris coming through with the three from downtown Fairfield. But on the other end, Albany State will respond. There's number 14, Elisa Saffold, with the easy layup.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's interesting, and I actually want to see if we can get a few more things happening, man, with some of those preseason, as we call them, the preseason games, the pre-conference, those games that happen during the December and November times in the early part of the season. I think there's some opportunities there for HBCUs to really be able to expose fan bases to what they're able to do during that time when the games don't count, but people can get a good look at it.
Absolutely. Checking into the game right now is Mariah Slayton. She will give Tadaria Ashley a breather. Ball was knocked out of bounds off a block. It will remain with Albany State. 19 seconds to go on the shot clock. 5:44 to go in the first quarter. Miles on top, 5-2 here inside the Knox Wyndham Gymnasium. Backing down to the defender right here is Milana Holmes, and it's going to be a foul right here on the floor. Looks like they're going to get Amaya Harris on the call. First personal for Amaya Harris, and going to the free throw line right now will be number 23, Melania Holmes. 5'8" senior out of Mapleton, Georgia. And as we go to the stat list, Miss Holmes on the year is a 61% free throw shooter is Miss Holmes. Check into the game right now. It's number 34, India Brown, seeing her first action of the day. Brown, 6'2" junior center from out of Gaston, Alabama, about an hour east of here. First free throw is up and good by Miss Holmes. She makes it 5-3. And waiting on the substitution will be Monique Christian. Looks like she's going to have the shooter. Christian, 5'10", junior center from out of Macon, Georgia. Looks like head coach Robert Skinner trying to, match up the size in that scenario. 5-4 is the score. Lady Golden Bears out on top. And Maya Harris swinging it over to Falia Greer. Falia Greer able to beat the press. Now Falia Greer is going to drive through the lane. Shot is partially blocked. It's knocked around and goes out of bounds. It will remain with Miles. The official look a little hesitant to be like, Miles ball. And I understand sometimes, you may need that backup help from your officiating teammates. And 17 seconds will be on the shot clock as we approach the 5-minute mark here in the first quarter. Taking the ball out is Falia Greer. And we're going to have a foul right here on the floor. Looks like that foul is going to be on Monique Christian. Gosh, she hasn't even been on the floor 15 seconds and she's already got her first foul.
So, Mo, what are you looking for? Let's talk about these Lady Golden Bears into the season. What are you looking for with them this year?
I mean, with the Lady Golden Bears, I think they're looking to pick things up where they left off at the end of last season. I mean, Lady Golden Bears had a lot of momentum as Amaya Harris takes the charge right here, and the ball will go back over to Miles on this next possession. I think they're looking to pick up where they left off from last year. I mean, they were one of the hottest teams going down the stretch in the SIC, advanced all the way to the SIC Women's Basketball Championship game where they lost a close one to in-state rival Tuskegee. And they played Tuskegee in some very tight contests throughout the entire season. I think now with Tuskegee not really being that favorite, it opens the doors for Miles and head coach Pete Asman and company to actually make a run. Now, in that situation that we just talked about, though, Albany State had something to say about it. Kyra Patterson pulling up for three and giving Albany State their first lead of the day, making it 7-5.
Definitely.
Going back inside, here is a shot by Aisha Sharif, and she gets the bucket to fall. 7-7 is our score as we approach the 4-minute mark coming up for the first quarter.
And Bo, just to let folks know to get ready for it, we actually have that game on January 27th when the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee make their way up here to Fairfield, Alabama for that big rivalry game.
Absolutely. We'll talk about that after the media timeout. 7-7 is our score. We'll be right back on BCSN.
People think unusual circumstances means complicated taxes. But for a TurboTax Live expert like me, it just makes things interesting. So, give us everything you've got.
What if I'm a professional gamer with a ton of expenses?
If they help drive views, let's talk deductions.
What if I'm in a state with no income tax, but my survival videos are viewed in 38 countries?
I can help. And if this is a business dinner, save those jerky receipts. An interesting life can mean an even greater refund. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. Intuit TurboTax Live.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal.
I think that's the point.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. On any unlimited plan, starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
It's like a loop machine. Going around town, people trying to get down.
And we're back inside the Knox Rhythm Gymnasium. It's Miles College 7, Albany State 7. Mo Carter alongside the boss man, Roy Evans, bringing you great basketball action here in the SIAC. And, of course, there are a lot of great games coming up along the schedule, as you mentioned. January 27th is going to be a huge one right here inside of the Knox Rhythm Gymnasium, as there's a turnover via Miles on that one with a travel, actually. Just move that pivot foot just a little too much on that one. But, yeah, January 27th, it's going to be a packed house inside here as Tuskegee comes to town to take on Miles. I mean, last year it was a sellout crowd. We had about 100-something people still outside waiting to, watch the game. So I don't know if they're going to try to fix that, or maybe they should somehow find a way to put maybe a video board outside, and then they can stream the Black College Sports Network's game of this.
Yeah.
For people who cannot come. I mean, that might be something we might have to talk to Coach Watson about.
There you go, exactly. Get with him and be like, hey, you got options, sir.
Yes, sir. I mean, I just don't want people to miss out on something to understand that, we get capacity crowds here from time to time.
Yeah. And, we actually will have 3 games going on that weekend. I'll look at the schedule, and we'll bring that up a little bit later on and let folks know where else we'll be. I know we'll be down at Edward Waters for one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure where the third game is, but we will get that information out there.
Yes, sir. Let's get back to the action right now. Now, Madison Lee missing the shot here. On the other side, it's Albany State. They're rocking things. And we got to travel, so the ball's going to go back over to Miles. As I mentioned earlier, Roy, I think, we're seeing still a lot of this sloppy play right now just because, both of these teams have not played games in quite some time. And that's what that Christmas break will do to you.
Yeah, that rust gets on you. You get home and you get complacent, haven't been at practice all the time. And
that's it. But how about this? A three-pointer from downtown Fairfield by Nariah Slayton. She only averages about 2.5 points per contest, so she's already above her season average with that three-pointer. Here's Albany State now going to work. They'll kick it out around the three-point line. Here's a step back, long two-pointer, hits the back iron for Albany State. That was number 2. That's Joanna Bell. Goes to the hands now of Maya Harris. Harris with the crossover, the pull-up, nice dish inside, but she cannot finish it. That was Aisha Sharif that could not finish it, but it looks like we got a foul on the play.
Yeah, that was a great play there. Would have been, if it had been completed, would have been really, really nice.
Absolutely. One of those dishes that you can probably put in a nice china cabinet. But in the process, I thought it was a foul on the play. Instead, it was ended up being a turnover, last touch by Miles. So Albany State will take things over. Checking to the ball game right now for Miles is number 15. That's Simone Johnson. Johnson from out of Sacramento, California. Cal State Bakersfield is her previous school. So I think we always talk about, like, with the transfers, we always wonder what the state of shock is when they come back over here. On the fast break, how about Madison Lee coming through with a breakaway layup? She gives the Miles a 12-9 lead.
Great look there. She was able to get that ball and dribble it down there. She was still fighting inside of the traffic of the defenders trying to get it back from her, and then she did what you want your guard to do. She looked up.
Absolutely. Here's a floater that falls by Joanna Bell. 12-11 is the score. All right, so here's the Miles now moving things from right to left on your television screen. Here's a three-pointer, hit the back iron by Madison Lee. Rebound goes over to Albany State. Here comes the Lady Rams. It's Bell. She misses the floater, but looks like she's going to head to the free throw line. Simone Johnson will be called for that foul. Heading to the free throw line right now is number 2. That is Joanna Bell.
Let's see if we can get that last replay here. That bucket. I believe this is for Albany State, yeah.
Here's Bell coming off the screen and just puts up the nice floater. Makes it easy. At the free throw line right now is Bell, and she gets it to shake, rattle, and roll to fall down. 12-12 is now the score. And, I mean, look, at these free throw percentages, she goes 2 for 2. Here's why, though, Roy. She's a 93% free throw shooter on the year. I mean, she's kind of going into the realm of Steve Nash and Mark Price.
Yeah, the player you don't want to foul.
Absolutely. So with that 2 for 2 free throw situation for Albany State, they now take a 13-12 lead. Here's Miles College now pushing the issue. It'll be Simone Johnson. Her shot's off the mark. Rebound, though, by Greer. Her shot is off the mark as well. Ball goes out of bounds. It will remain with the Lady Golden Bears. Miles just kind of looked like they were out of rhythm right there. So here's Greer. She get it over to Johnson, and Johnson going to be called for steps. You know, I remember when they made that change several years ago about how you basically have to dribble before you take that first step. Years later, the player still can't get it done.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's one of those things, you know, that sort of like football when you say there's always a holding on pretty much every play. There's probably pretty much a walk on most plays in basketball.
Yes, sir. Shot clock and game clock are identical. We're down to 7 seconds. Here is Albany State. They lose the ball, though, trying to get that ball in the hands of Simone Johnson. Johnson steps out of bounds. There'll be a turnover. Let's see how much time they will put on the clock. They're not going to do it. They're going to say end of the first quarter. So we played one here in Fairfield. Albany State with a 13-12 lead over Miles College. We're back on BCSN on the other side of the break.
When you work in IT, complaints are part of the job.
Bill says the coffee's weak today.
But since CDW helped us switch to Mac, everyone's happier. Dan from finance likes getting performance without a big price tag. Phoebe digs the power of the Apple M1 chip. Mac is easy to manage, compatible with all our apps, and came pre-configured by CDW. Now we're even getting compliments.
That was Bill again, says he loves his new Mac. He's right about the coffee.
Hey, babe, meet us at the bottom of the trail.
Oh, man. Hey.
Open up. The redesigned Chevy Silverado with a sophisticated high-tech interior.
Open the door.
It's easy to forget it's a truck.
Thanks.
Nice truck.
It was.
Find new style. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
At HBCUs, there's no limit to who we can be.
HBCU basketball continues right here on the Black College Sports Network alongside the boss man, Roy Evans. I'm Mo Carter. It's time for the second quarter between Miles College and Albany State. In that first half, neither team shot the ball particularly well. For Albany State, they were 4 of 14 from the field, while Miles was 5 of 14 from the field. Such close percentages, and that's why we have a one-point game here inside of Knox Williams Gymnasium. Here's Amani Williams. She misses her initial shot, gets the rebound, misses the second one, but she's going to the free throw line.
And Bo, I actually want to roll back to something. That was Tadra Ashley, who was able to make that steal, the forward, who looks like she's just as big almost as your center for Miles. But what you love to see your big be able to do is get the ball down court. And like I said, she did exactly what you teach your guards to do. She was able to get her head up, look out above the court, and see her teammate under the basket.
Amani Williams now at the free throw line, 77% free throw shooter on the year. First free throw is up and good. She ties the ball game up at 13. That last foul was on number 14 for Albany State, and that is Elisa Stafford, who's from right here in Birmingham, Alabama. So Williams goes 2 for 2, gives the lead back to Miles College, 14-13. Checking into the game right now for Albany State, Kira Peterson, young lady from your neck of the woods, Atlanta, Georgia.
All right.
And there's a steal right there by Maya Harris. Harris with the crossover, and she's going to try to slow it up now. Gets over to Madison Lee. Now in the corner, Falia Greer will pull up for three. Hits the back iron off the mark. Rebound goes to Miles, and then Albany State is able to pull it away. Falia Greer now pulls it away. Greer kicks it out to Amaya Harris for three, and it's good from downtown Fairfield.
That was a great sequence right there. Lots of hustle on both sides of the ball, both teams down on the floor going after it.
Give a lot of credit to Falia Greer for not giving up on that play, because she initially had lost the ball, stole it back, and then was able to find Amaya Harris for the wide open three. So here's Albany State taking the ball out on the sideline. They'll swing things over to Bell, a great free throw shooter. The Miami, Florida native with 9 seconds to go on the shot clock. She's going to throw it inside to Fairchild, and Yasmin Fairchild is able to get the bucket in the paint.
All right, and just to clear things up, actually, so South Florida is my neck of the woods. I just live in Atlanta now.
I got you.
And so now I'm curious, where's that? Oh, it doesn't say where she's from and what high school she attended in Miami.
I've got it up on my computer. We will be able to hook you up in just a few moments. There's a missed shot on this possession by Miles. So back comes Albany State. Peterson with the rock gets it back over to Joanna Bell. Bell with 17 seconds to go on the shot clock. Bell will go inside to Fairchild again. Fairchild trying to get her second bucket, but there's going to be a foul on the play. Looks like they're going to get
on Miss Ashley.
On to Daria Ashley. And checking to the game right now will be Aisha Shareed.
That seemed like it might be a little touchy on that one, Mo. She's been aggressively playing that defense the entire game so far. And, you usually get that when the refs see that you're playing hard and playing clean, they usually give you that call, but that's going to be a travel, yeah.
And Fairchild will be called for the travel.
Give credit on that one to Aisha Shareed. She was able to get her hands on that ball, and it stopped the person from being able to make the move. She had to shuffle her feet in order to get the back into rhythm.
So on the other end, here comes Falia Greer. She'll swing things over to Aisha Shareed. Shareed gets it into the hands of Amaya Harris, but it gets by her. They're not on the same page. Turnover for Miles. Joanna Bell, according to Google, which is my friend, she went to the Durrell Academy.
Okay.
She's also a transfer from Clayton State.
Okay.
So she's got some experience under her belt for sure.
Definitely.
On the other end, here comes Falia Greer being guarded closely by number 4 Chelsea Hill. So switch it back over to Harris. Harris will pull up for a deep three, well off the mark. Rebound goes over to Yasmin Fairchild and Albany State. Albany State down by 2, approaching the 7-minute mark. Here's Bell. Her shot's blocked, though, by the one and only Amaya Harris. Now here's Harris pushing it up court. Gets to Greer. Greer thought about the three. Instead, her ball gets tipped around back into the hands of Madison Lee. Lee pulls up from the charity stripe, misses the shot. Rebound goes back over to Miles. The putback off the mark. Ball goes out of bounds, and they're going to say it's Albany State. Last touch by Miles. So here's Joanna Bell. Was being guarded closely by Imani Williams, but she switched over with Amaya Harris. Point guard on point guard right now into the hands of Kira Peterson. Peterson goes inside to Fairchild. She tries that baby hook. Goes well off the mark into the hands of Harris. Now going inside, here's Aisha Shareed. She backs down on the defender, misses her initial shot. Ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Albany State. So to answer your question earlier, Roy, to be honest with you, I think this is the type of game that Albany State is liking or wants to play. It's still somewhat low scoring. It's not as high paced as the baby hook by Amani Williams goes off glass and it's good. But yeah, I think this is the type of pace that Albany State wants to really keep going. Miles is used to going up and down the floor. You really haven't seen that as much. You had to see Miles, who just got a big block right there by Aisha Shareed, and last touch by Albany State. You've seen Miles have to be in situations where he have to set up their half-court offense more so.
Yeah, and then we know that they are definitely an up and down team. They like to keep the ball moving and just getting into open space, getting clear and open shots, and just making just running the other team out of the gym.
Speaking of shots, neither team still is shooting the ball well. Miles is 30% on the evening, 7 for 24 now, while Albany State is 27% from the floor, 5 of 16. That shot was off the mark by Miles, goes out of bounds, back over to Albany State.
Listen, like I said, this is that holiday rust. All the excess turkey and everything is being able to be cleared out right now. So maybe when we get back to the second half, we'll see a little bit more cleanup of stability.
Absolutely. How about that bucket right there by Melania Holmes, the and one. So she'll head to the free throw line for the potential 3-point play. You know, Miles defenders, they just overplayed it, and Holmes was able to take advantage of it. So at the free throw line right now is Melania Holmes. On the year, she's a 61% free throw shooter. Holmes is from Mapleton, Georgia.
It's up there in the Atlanta area.
All right, glad you answered that because I was about to Google that.
Yeah, Mapleton is one of these suburbs of the Atlanta area.
I understand. All right, she cannot go with the three-point play. The rebound is grabbed by India Brown. Here's Albany State now going with a little half-court trap. Harris gets it into the hands of Madison Lee, and we're going to have a 10-second call.
The rare 10-second call. We don't really get a lot of those.
You really don't, especially with teams who, you know, have the let's push it high-tempo type offenses.
Yeah.
So ball goes back over to Albany State. They'll look to either tie it with a bucket or take the lead with a three-pointer. We're down 19-17. We just hit the 5-minute mark in the first half. Miles Collins going with a little man-to-man now into the hands of number 3, Kira Peterson, and the ball will be going the other way. Looks like we're going to have a offensive foul moving screen on Stafford. So her second personal foul. Looks like she's going to have to check out the game. Coming into the game right now will be number 4, Chelsea Hill from out of Waldorf, Maryland. Little East Coast action. And before we even get another play off, let's take a media time out. 4:49 to go. 19-17 is your score. We're back on the other side of the break.
There's no limit to who we can be. Black and inspired and thriving. Black and magnetic and sing. From the classrooms to the quad, our passion is our purpose. We are leaders and legacy. So when you look at what we accomplish next, you'll know where it started. For who you are and who you want to be, we're here.
I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire.
Crypto is complicated, but as a tax expert with crypto experience, you can hand your taxes off to me. You do your thing, we've got your taxes. Intuit, TurboTax Live.
Pizza Hut stuffed crust is the crust that made crust good. Topped and stuffed with over a half pound of cheese. What are you so afraid of? Loving it? Original stuffed crust, just $12.99. Only from Pizza Hut. No one out Pizza Hut.
It's like a loop machine.
And we're back inside the Knox Wyndham Gymnasium. 4:49 to go in the first half. Miles College on top, 19-17 here in Fairfield, Alabama. We want to thank you for joining us right here on the Black College Sports Network. Mo Carter alongside the boss man. That is Roy Evans.
Nah, I'm just a regular guy.
Look, he's very, very humble, just to let everybody know. He does a lot of work. Don't let him fool you on that. He signs checks, too, just to let you know. For people who just want to know how important he is. All right, nice dish inside there.
Gotta cue that one up.
Absolutely. Good bucket for Miles College. That was India Brown with the bucket. But Fairchild comes back on the other side and makes it a 2-point game once again. Here's Amaya Harris. Harris almost loses the ball, gets double teamed, gets in the hands of Brown. Brown throws it inside to Tadaria Ashley, and Ashley goes up high and scores. Miles is working with a relatively larger lineup in the post. Let's see if they're going to continue to take advantage of that against Albany State. There's a near steal right there. Chelsea Hill, though, gets by and sinks the bucket from the charity stripe, 23-21. And Roy, I think here's that up-tempo pace that we were expecting from both of these squads at a certain point in time.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, they came out of that break, and they are definitely saying, let's push it and let's go. But it's going to be interesting to see who's able to get a lead in this situation.
Here's India Brown with the turnaround, baby hook, and it's good. As I mentioned, Miles has a relatively larger lineup in the post. That's 3 straight shots now. They have gone inside. And we've got a travel on the play. Ball goes back over to Miles College. Check into the game right now for Miles College will be number 21, Nariah Slayton. She's going to replace Kiera Howard Garza. But right now, Miles is going with 2 guards and 3 forwards. One of those forwards, Madison Lee, right now with the rock in her hand. Lee driving through the paint and throws the ball away. Chelsea Hill comes up with the steal. Hill will pull up for the 2-pointer off the mark. Rebound goes back over to Bell. Bell's going to dribble it out and just restart some things. On that last Miles possession, I'm not exactly sure that's what Coach Asman was looking for. So let's see how they respond. In the meantime, here's Albany State. The pull-up jumper by Melania Holmes is off the mark. The putback also off the mark. Rebound goes to Miles. Maya Harris looks like she wants to push it. Goes behind the back. She'll kick it out to Slayton. Now over to Daria Ashley. Ashley gets it over to Slayton. Slayton puts up a bucket. It's off the mark, but she's going to head to the free throw line.
And let's take a look at one of those dish in the paint that you were just talking about, how they have gotten to the point where they are getting in there and they're moving.
Absolutely. That was India Brown with the back down, the spin, and the baby hook.
Let's see if I can get the one prior to that.
She's rocking the number 34. She's wearing purple and gold. Kind of looks like somebody who used to play on the West Coast.
Let's see. This is the first one, I believe, that we were able to get from them. And it was just beautiful. Look at that pass.
Nice dish inside to Brown as well. Brown just used her big frame and quick feet to just get by the defenders.
Yeah, I know that's definitely got to be one that Coach Asman is going to pull up on the board in the film room and be like, we need to execute this on a regular basis.
Absolutely. So in the process right there, we got 2 for 2 from Miss Slayton at the free throw line. 26-21 is our score. Here's Holmes with the rock. She's going to try to drive on Ashley. Drawing some contact late. Whistle is blown, and they're going to get to Daria Ashley on the personal foul. Miles College called for the rare delay of game warning.
I think that may have been on Tadaria as she was holding the ball there, just waiting to, like, are you really calling that on me? Did I really just get called for that foul?
Madison Lee checking into the game right now for Tadaria Ashley. And a missed free throw right here by Holmes. 61% free throw shooter on the year is Miss Holmes. Young lady out of Mapleton, Georgia, suburb of the Atlanta area, but she is able to go 1 for 2. She makes the 4-point game, 26-22 inside the Knox Wyndham Gymnasium. Under 2 minutes to go. Falia Greer dribbles it inside, but she loses the rock. Ball goes back over to Albany State.
You know, and I'm wondering if she expected one of her teammates to be cutting to the basket on that.
It's a good possibility. The film will show it on tomorrow when they take a look at that. Here's Albany State trying to break the half-court press, and they do. Hill has the ball in her hands. She'll swing it back over to Bell. Here's Bell pulling up from the charity stripe, and it's good. 26-24, 1:11 to go in the first half. Lots of talking going on from both sidelines. Here's Greer. She's going to drive inside, go off the glass, and one. Falia Greer, who scored 19 points in her last outing, is heading to the free throw line for a 3-point play opportunity. She's an 83% free throw shooter on the season.
Take a look at that play again.
It's just Greer just blowing by everyone and then drawing a little contact as she gets the bucket. That's how you draw it up.
That's it. Exactly how. Exactly how we practiced it.
Yes, sir. For Falia Greer, as I mentioned, 83% free throw shooter. Oh, and I gave her the broadcaster's jinx. She cannot complete the three-point play. 28-24 is the score. Miles College on top by 4. About a 19-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Here's Bell being guarded closely by Greer. Gets into the hands of Melania Holmes.
And Greer and Bell are definitely barking at each other.
Absolutely. Here's a shot attempt by Chelsea Hill on the baseline. It's off the mark, but we're going to have a foul called right under the basket.
Greer definitely telling him, like, that's right, head into somebody else. You get nothing. She is definitely into the defensive side of this game today.
It's a funny thing, you know, we talk about how Greer averages 14.1 points per game. That was her first bucket of the entire contest.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And here's the first free throw attempt, which is up and good by Albany State. And going 2 for 2 for Albany State is Wanisha Black from out of Pembroke, Georgia. So 28-26 is your score. No shot clock, 17 seconds to go. Here's a nice dish inside to Nariah Slayton, but her shot is blocked out of bounds. We'll give credit to Kyla Raven with that block there. So taking the ball out under the basket is Greer. Greer gets the ball back. She goes inside, and here's an easy bucket right there by Amir Brown, 30-29. 4 seconds to go now. Albany State with a chance to get one last shot off, and the shot is blocked at the buzzer by Madison Lee as Stevie Scott tried to get one off.
Before we go on, let's take a look at that last block on this end by Albany State.
It's a nice swat.
Came across the back. Yeah, that was a good one.
Absolutely, but Falia Greer and was able to get it to Amir Brown for the bucket to put Miles College in front 30-28 as we go into halftime. Taking a look at your stats. Miles College, since the last time we talked about field goal percentage, was able to improve on their stats. Right now, they're 12 of 30 on the evening, 40%. They're 3 of 7 from three-point range for 42%. Their leading scorer right now, and Maya Harris, no surprise there, with 6 points. On the other end, Albany State, 9 of 27 from the field for 33%, and they're 1 of 7 from downtown, only at 14%. Bell is their leading scorer with 8 points. Their leading rebounder is Holmes. She's got 3. The leading rebounder for Miles, well, there's 1, 2, 3 young ladies with 3 rebounds, which includes Greer, Tadaria Ashley, and Amani Brown. So, Roy, as these young ladies go into the locker room, clearly I'm pretty sure both coaches are going to talk about, hey, we got to get the rust off now and play well in the second half to, get a W.
Definitely. And like you said, it's one of those situations everybody knows it's the first live action back. You may have been in practice for a couple of days, but practice from playing against your teammates is never going to be like the aggression and the adrenaline that you get playing against an actual opponent and coming in. And like I said, we were able to see that there was some rust on both teams. Some first quarter, very sloppy play. Going into the second quarter, Miles definitely was able to get into a little bit more rhythm, following and playing in their offense, looking at it, taking advantage, as you said, of the size that they had back in the post and being able to get the things going. And with Coach Asman doing that with his team, one of the things that these young ladies have to remember now, when you're playing that type of basketball, you got to keep moving. If you get stagnant, you're going to stop your offense completely because people are not moving around to the ball. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing them getting that going.
Correct. And, just taking a look at the schedules before we go to our official halftime break, the last time that Miles College even played a basketball game, December the 16th, a full 3 weeks. Albany State, they should have their legs under them just a little bit. They had a break between December 18th and December 30th, so it was less than a week when they actually played their last game as they took on Georgia College and fell by a large margin in that one. All right, everyone, we got 12 minutes to go in halftime, and before we go, Roy's going to have the last word.
Well, Mo, I was just going to say, you were talking about their last game was December 16th. There was actually something else that happened.
Absolutely. The Florida A&M Rattlers were able to secure a victory in this year's Celebration Bowl, only the second time that a team from the Southwestern Athletic Conference was able to capture the championship in the city of Atlanta. Now former coach Willie Simmons leading the team to a victory over Howard, which was a very, very entertaining game from beginning to end. I think one of the most entertaining parts, though, was having the opportunity not only to see black excellence on television, but also to see our Madam Vice President in the booth with Tiffany Green and Jay Walker. Yes, she was a homer because she is a Howard graduate, but at a situation like that, you can't hold it against her because Howard made her who she was, and she talked about going from D.C. back to the West Coast, back to D.C., for whatever Howard was able to do for her. So, I thought that was great as well. But overall, I think the best thing, too, was seeing the SWAC finally get another victory. It's been a while since Grambling had, picked up one for the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Well, hopefully the Rattlers will be able to help move that along on a regular basis. We enjoy being the representative in there. We actually will be back in August for the MEAC SWAC Challenge, as we will be taking on Norfolk State. So I'm sure that the mantra for the team next season is going to be, let's start and finish in Atlanta.
Absolutely. That Norfolk State team coached by one Dawson Odom, former Southern University coach. And that's it. Speaking of Southern, they've got a new coach, Terrence Graves, my former defensive coordinator.
My fraternity brother.
Yes, sir. Oh, man, he used to talk about how much he loved the Sigma brothers so much. Man, oh, man. But no, great guy. I'm just hoping he's the right guy to lead them into battle. Because pretty tough schedule for the Jaguars next year for sure. Some guys who I'm connected to in some of the group chats we're talking about, man. Like, could be a long season, but if they can take it one game at a time, then it could be a better situation. So we'll see how it goes. All right, we're officially going to take our halftime break with 10 minutes to go. Miles on top 30-26. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with second half action.
The thing that was impressive was from an administrative standpoint, they didn't stand back flat-footed. They tried to raise money from the standpoint of enticing him to stay there. But even more so, you know, you sort of created this sort of donor base that wants to see this program, whether whomever comes in to coach it, they want to continue to see this program be successful. And that was the impressive thing to me, where it wasn't a whole lot of dialogue about what he's doing to the culture and this, that, and the other. You know, it was almost as though they understood that this day was going to come at some point, and they were able to pivot and move forward. That was the thing that caught me, that was tremendously impressive.
Quite a few things that both of y'all put in those dialogues and answering that. So let's unpack some of them. One of the first things comes to mind as you talk about that the day of age of coaches staying in a position for 10 years is many, many moons ago. So my question to you to follow up, why is that? Why do you believe that's the case? Obviously, there's some evidence out there to show that it's certainly not the case. But what do you think are the factors that are creating the environment that is not the case?
If you have an opportunity to move up and make a certain amount of income, I think you would be foolhardy to not look at that. To go from making, you know, $300 some odd thousand to $500,000-$600,000. I mean, I think there's a reality to the fact that I think coaches who have an opportunity to make that sort of income for their family, of course they're going to look at it. Of course they're going to pivot and do what they think is best for their family, and you can't begrudge them for that.
Yep, and there's a saying.
So, Mike, let me ask you this question in context with that, which probably will bring in some of the thoughts that you were about to agree with Charles, but I want to get this particular. So another question along with that, are the only coaches that are able to have the level of success, for the most part, we're talking about recently with the last two coaches that have left on their own accord, because we also have the other side of this, but coaches that didn't have success were also dismissed, and they had short lifespans. So there's two edges to this sword. Whether you're doing well, it seems like you may leave, or if you're not doing well, you're going to get pushed and exited as well. So I want to make sure that we are looking at this holistically from both sides. But with that being said, are the only coaches that are able to have the level of success as Coach Willie Simmons and Coach Prime are individuals that have their background? What are your thoughts on that, Mike?
I would disagree. I think there's a saying in the corporate world: the market calls and demands excellence, and know your worth. So I think with them, they have the pedigree and the track record of success. You look at this Washington coach; he was an NAIA coach. He won 3 NAIA championships, and he was able to make that same similar track. Maybe not to the HBCU ranks, but when you demonstrate a level of excellence in NAIA, Division I, FCS, whatever, the market it always calls for success. And if you know your value, it will weed out those ones who are able to bring on demonstrative success. So you bring on Dion, there are certain qualities that attach to those abilities. Bring on Dion, market value. Tremendous recruiter. You bring on Coach Simmons, tremendous builder of men. They all have market value. So they're going to go with the market. Like it, love it, or leave it. It is just, what CD said, it is the market we live in. And it behoves us as the university, as the organization. You now have a new market model. You now have a new track for these types of individuals. So it's not these two types of individuals. There are certain individuals who have an innate ability to build successful programs, whatever level, and then they're going to go where their market work is. The market is going to call for it.
So let me jump in there, because I think we get the point there. Let me jump in there and ask this question, which is a challenge for me. If that is the case, why do you believe Trey Oliver at North Carolina Central over the last 2 years didn't have that market demand as Coach Willie Simmons and Coach Prime?
I think it's a matter of time. Now, if he had gone back-to-back undefeated in the MEAC, much the same way that we saw Coach Prime do it in the SWAC and Coach Willie Simmons do at FAMU, I think, yeah, he would have had suitors as well. I think, maybe that track gets tripped up just from the fact that they did not go back-to-back. They weren't back-to-back champions in the MEAC. But I don't think there's any doubt that he puts together another.
But Simmons didn't go back-to-back.
No, but I mean, you take a look at his track record, 45-13. I mean, that's pretty doggone good. He did go undefeated in the SWAC this past season. So I think that there's something to that.
Yeah, there are no.
I think the only reason I asked that is if you look at Trey Oliver's last year and this year's season, they're very equivalent to Coach Simmons. Both of them won one conference championship. They had very few losses, one conference loss over the last 2 years. Both of them had big wins non-conference. I would argue Trey Oliver maybe had bigger non-conference wins than Coach Simmons. Obviously, Coach Simmons had less opportunity to do that. So that's the only reason I pause on that. I'm not so sure that I necessarily agree.
I guess.
I guess I look at it from a standpoint. I guess I look at it from this standpoint. I guess maybe Trey Oliver has not jumped at an offer that probably has been in his lap. So and
I guess that's my question. Why hasn't he been? I guess that's the fundamental point of my question. Why hasn't he had that opportunity? Go ahead, Mike.
Is it really he hasn't had that opportunity, or he hasn't put himself or marketed himself as being available to that opportunity? I think there's a difference. I don't know that question.
So you're telling me that both Coach Prime and Coach Simmons marketed themselves for that position and opportunity?
I think what you have to miss is with marketing, there's a certain factor. It may be subjective, whatever it is. If an individual is perceived as available and maybe they've marketed themselves, whether Coach Simmons marketed himself or not, he never closed the door.
I don't think anybody's turning down phone calls.
Exactly.
I don't either. And I guess that's the fundamental thing. I'm curious to why Coach Trey Oliver's phone has not rung like these others. And I'll give you my opinion on this since I put it out there and asked that. I think a lot of this we don't really put as much stock in the fact that a lot of this is also about relationships.
Yeah.
Coach Prime had relationships in addition to his success that allowed him to parlay that in another opportunity. Coach Simmons had relationships along with his success that had that. And because he came out of a pool where he had a more diverse pool of relationships, those individuals went on. Trey Oliver, for example, in terms of that, most of his relationships are
And welcome back. And we're back inside the Knoxville Gymnasium getting ready for the second half between the Lady Golden Bears of Miles and the Lady Golden Rams of Albany State. It's 30-29. Lady Bears out in front. Roy,
26.
Sure is 26. Y'all forgive me. My eyes just weren't working on that on that last call in that situation. In the meantime, 30-26, Roy, what do you think was said in the locker room by the respective head coaches?
Well, I think Coach Asman just really told the ladies, hey, we picked it up at the end of that quarter. We did what we wanted to do. We got us, small 4-point lead at this point, but we were able to get consistent in what we were doing, getting the ball, playing inside out. and getting some baskets and doing what they want to do. Now, Coach Skinner probably telling his ladies the same thing. Hey, listen, we got all the rest off. We're ready to go. You know, we're getting into this. We got into our groove. We were able to score. So let's just get it going again. Let's keep up the momentum. I think both coaches were on. We've got some good momentum. Keep it moving forward.
So keep it moving forward is Albany State with the opening possession right here. And turnover goes over to Miles College. So not the start that Coach Robert Skinner wanted for his Lady Golden Ram. Here's Amaya Harris on the floor, gets it over for Leah Greer. Greer coming off the screen from Aisha Reed. Swings it over to Daria Ashley, now back in the hands of Harris. She's got 13 seconds to go. And oh my goodness, look how nice that dish was to Daria Ashley in the paint. She was so wide open.
Mo, I talked about it at the end of the second quarter. Keep moving. That's what you're going to get when you're able to play inside out. You'll have those opportunities where that space is going to be open just because they're having to chase their defensive player.
Yes, sir. Melania Holmes misses the initial shot for Albany State. But there was a foul on the floor. 20 seconds to go on the shot clock for Albany State as to take the ball out under the basket. Into the hands now of Holmes. Holmes being guarded closely. And goes up and under, but she's going to miss the shot. However, she will head to the free throw line. That extra movement and extra second that she was able to get was just enough to get the Miles defender off her feet and get some contact. So here's Holmes at the free throw line. Misses the first free throw attempt. Let's head to the next free throw for her. Rims in and out. 0 for 2 on that possession. Daria Ashley comes up with the possession. Gets over for Leah Greer. Greer tries to bounce it inside, but the ball is stolen by Albany State, but the ball is going to go right back over to Miles after the Lady Rams throw the ball out of bounds on the opposite side of the court.
And right now what we're seeing is less of that composure that we were just talking about. And right now it's just kind of hectic, and they just, again, have to get to a point where they settle in and get back into the rhythm of their offense.
Here's for Leah Greer, throwing it into Maya Harris. Back in the hands of Greer. Greer swings it over to Aisha Reed. Now into the hands of Madison Lee. Madison Lee will pull up and misses the shot. Rebound to Aisha Reed. Her shot is partially blocked and into the hands of the Lady Golden Rams. Pushing the ball up court right now is going to be Peterson, and looks like they're going to get Madison Lee on the block. Madison Lee looking over at head coach Pete Asman, and she's kind of like, yeah, coach, that definitely is on me. There's a better way for me to block a defender going down the baseline. Here's Joanna Bell now. Going dribble between the legs, gets past. Her defender goes inside, nice dish. However, the shot is well off the mark by Fairchild. Here comes Amaya Harris behind the back, misses the pull-up jumper. Rebound to Fairchild. Fairchild gets to the hands of Bell. Bell being guarded closely by Amaya Harris. This is the key matchup that we've been talking about throughout the game. Very, very similar playing styles by both of these young ladies. Here's a drive towards the goal, and no basket. No basket for Holmes. They're going to call her for a travel. Turnover on the possession. Ball goes back over to Miles College. Here's Albany showing a little half-court pressure, but they get out of it real quick. Leah Greer loses the rock, and the ball is secured by Albany State. Stop the possession right there. Getting ready to check back into the game for Miles will be Nariah Slayton. In the meantime, Joanna Bell pushes the initiative, goes behind her back. She's going to dribble it back out, still being guarded closely by Harris. Bell will kick it over to Fairchild. Fairchild thought about a three. Instead, she will swing it over to Peterson. Peterson back over to Fairchild. Fairchild has the ball knocked away by Falia Greer. Falia Greer in front of everybody now, and she's going to get the easy breakaway layup. Greer making things happen on both sides of the court. She deflects the ball and then runs down the court like a wide open wide receiver, gets the basket on the other end to extend Miles' lead to 34-26. Here's Holmes going inside, and she gets Fairchild to get the bucket right there in the paint, 34-28.
And right then, Mo, Albany State was able to use that same tactic that Miles has been doing, where they've got that motion happening and clearing the open person to go to the basket.
Falia Greer almost has the ball go backcourt. She regains possession with 16 seconds to go on the shot clock. She will throw it all the way across court to Cherie. Cherie's going to take a deep three, hits the side of the backboard, but guess what? Greer is there for the rebound. Her shot is blocked, though, and into the hands of Holmes. But Greer, they're going to call it a jump ball on the play. I thought Greer was able to come through and get the sneaky steal. But they're going to call it a jump ball with Albany State remaining with the possession. And we got a small stoppage in time. In the meantime, Roy mentioned how big January the 27th will be. Well, here's how big it will be. On that day, here inside the Knox-Windham Gymnasium, Miles will play host to Tuskegee. Edward Waters will play host to Savannah State, and Benedict will play host to Allen as a three-pointer is knocked down to extend the lead, making it 37-29. But yes, we have sort of a rivalry day on January the 27th. Mark your calendars. Make sure you tune in to Black College Sports Network for all of those games.
All 6 of those games will be on the network.
Yes, sir. Here's a big block right there by Miles College. Amaya Harris throws it up court. It's inside to Cherie. Cherie misses, but the putback is up and good by Nariah Slayton. Miles now with a double-digit lead, 39-28, approaching the 5-minute mark. Here's Bell. She's going to kick it out to Safford, and her shot well off the mark. Coach Skinner not impressed with what just happened right there. In the meantime, here's Harris. She's going to go inside, but they're going to call her teammate for a travel. And we've got a media timeout, so let's take it with them. 39-28 is your score. We're back on BCSN soon.
People think unusual circumstances means complicated taxes. But for a TurboTax Live expert like me, it just makes things interesting. So, give us everything you've got.
What if I'm a professional gamer with a ton of expenses?
If they help drive views, let's talk deductions.
What if I'm in a state with no income tax, but my survival videos are viewed in 38 countries?
I can help. And if this is a business dinner, save those jerky receipts. An interesting life can mean an even greater refund. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. Intuit TurboTax Live.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal?
I think that's the point.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. On any unlimited plan, starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
It's like a loot machine. Going around town, people trying to get down.
When you work in IT, complaints are part of the...
And we're back inside the Knox-Windham Gymnasium. 4:44 to go in the third quarter. Miles Lady Golden Bears taking on the Lady Golden Rams of Albany State with Miles on top, 39-28. 8. You know, Roy, I think one of the most exciting things about this portion of the season is that it's still the beginning of conference play. So it's not so much a reset, but this is where teams really find out who they are from a roster standpoint, from a starting lineup standpoint, and how good they can compete against the other elites in their conference. The positioning for that conference tournament, which will take place in Savannah, Georgia, once again, will be very, very key.
Definitely.
Here's a step-back pull-up jumper by Joanna Bell. It's good. 39-30. She makes a single-digit deficit once again. Can Miles respond? Bell guarding Harris closely. And Harris throws the ball away, looking for India Brown, but it is stolen by Peterson. Peterson now thought about the three-pointer, and Peterson moved that pivot foot, travel, ball goes back over to Miles.
And just like that, all of the momentum that they had getting themselves together seems to have come back.
And just reading the body language on Coach Skinner, you can just tell, like, come on, ladies, we work on this all the time. We should not be making these mistakes. And then as soon as I say that, I look over at Coach Aspen, and he can say the same thing as India Brown is called for steps in the paint. I get what Brown was trying to do, though. Brown was trying to back down on the defender and then figure out which way she could pull the baby hook on, and then did not realize that the defender who was defending her switched positioning, and that caused her to miss out on her pivot foot and then move it.
Seemed like the feet were shuffled there on that one for sure. Coach Asman called it.
Melania Holmes' shot hits the back iron, and the rebound goes back over to Miles. 3:18 to go in the third quarter. Miles on top by 9. We're inside the Knox Wyndham Gymnasium. Madison Lee with the ball, gets over to Raya Slayton for 3, and it is good from downtown Fairfield, Alabama. 42-30 is your score. Can Albany State respond? The answer is no, as the shot is off the mark by Bell. Out in front for Miles College is Madison Lee. Her shot is blocked out of bounds. The ball will remain with Miles. Good hustle play, though, right there by Madison Lee. Here's Amaya Harris pulling her for 3 points, and she knocks it down. Back-to-back 3-pointers now for Miles College. 45-30 is your score. Miles out in front.
By 15, just like that. And this is the thing that Albany State had to, and Coach Skinner had to be concerned with. Because as you spoke about it, Mo, these young ladies can fill it up in the scores for sure for Miles. And once they get hot, it's going to be difficult for people to catch up if they're not making buckets, because when they get hot, they tend to get on a run once their shooters are starting to feel it.
Correct. The missed shot was rebounded by India Brown. Harris and Miles trying to extend their lead. 3-pointer off the mark. Rebound, though, by Madison Lee is good on the putback. 17-point lead now for Miles College as we approach the 1 minute and 30-second mark to go in the third quarter. Here's Bell trying to go inside to Black. Ball is taken away. Here comes Amani Williams. And Williams will finish the fast break steal with a bucket. 49-30 is your score. Remember, this was just a 9-point game just about a minute ago. It's now increased to 19. And the shot is blocked by Madison Lee. Black recovers it for Albany State. 6 seconds to go on the shot clock. Not sure Bell knows it. Melania splits the defender. That's Melania Holmes, the splitting defenders, but her shot is off the mark. Here's Miles College moving the ball once again well. Missed shot right there, but Madison Lee is there once again for the rebound and the putback. 51-30 is your score. This lead has bloomed and blossomed to a 21-point lead for Miles College and a 21-point deficit for Albany State. Here's Bell. 9 seconds difference between shot clock and game clock. She tries to bounce it inside. Black were able to throw it over to Peterson. Here's a shot by Sappho, and it is going to be airballed. Shot clock runs out. In the stat book, they'll count that as a shot clock violation. Miles College will have it with 8.9 seconds to go in the third quarter. So here's Madison Lee. She'll get it over to Monty Williams, and we got a whistle. So we got a foul right here on Joanna Bell. Hold on, everyone. I'm just trying to hear what the officials were telling the scorers table. All right, so it appears that there was a foul with 1.8 seconds to go. There was a discussion to see if the foul happened before the shot. Joanna Bell was called for the foul. In the process, Coach Pete Asman called a timeout. I guess you can't take them home with you, Roy.
Not at all. And like we talked about, that first half, there were absolutely no timeouts called.
So now it looks like he's drawing up a play. 1.8 seconds to go. They also did come to the scorer's table to adjust the time. A nice balance of points right now, too, for Miles. Harris has 9, Lee has 9, Slayton has 9. All right, so here we go. Ball being taken out by Amani Williams. Williams will go inside to Madison Lee. Madison Lee with the turnaround jumper. It's off the mark, and that's where we're in the third quarter. We played 3 inside the Knox Wyndham Gymnasium. Miles College, 51, Albany State 30. Stay tuned. The fourth quarter is coming up after the break.
When you work in IT, complaints are part of the job.
Bill says the coffee's weak today.
But since CDW helped us switch to Mac, everyone's happier. Dan from finance likes getting performance without a big price tag. Phoebe digs the power of the Apple M1 chip. Mac is easy to manage, compatible with all our apps, and came pre-configured by CDW. Now we're even getting compliments.
That was Bill again, says he loves his new Mac. He's right about the coffee.
Hey, babe, meet us at the bottom of the trail.
Oh, man. Hey.
Open up. The redesigned Chevy Silverado. With a sophisticated high-tech interior,
Open the door.
it's easy to forget it's a truck.
Thanks.
Nice truck.
It was.
Find new style. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
At HBCUs, there's no limit to who we...
And welcome back to the Knox With 'em Gymnasium. We're getting ready for the fourth quarter between Miles College and Albany State. And in the process, we're being joined by a very special guest. It's the president of the university. It's Dr. Bobby Knight. First of all, happy holidays to you, Dr.
Likewise, same to you. Happy New Year.
How was everything with you and the family during the time off?
Beautiful. I needed it. Glad to be back.
Totally understand. So what are some of the things that the alumni and current students should be looking forward to as we get ready for the spring 2024 semester?
What a great question. So, and thank you for that. One thing they can look forward to is that we will be announcing very soon our certificate program and credentialing program for students as well as non-students. So people who are working in the business industry that want to get credentials or get more certified in some areas, will be launching that this year. So within the next few weeks. So that's an exciting piece of what we've done. We've never offered certificate programs before.
Oh, no, that is phenomenal, especially now with the way things are working out within the trade world and the tech industry. I think that is phenomenal that you, your staff, and everyone else here are able to kind of really pull that off moving forward. So definitely looking forward to how that is going. Besides that, of course, it's a new year, but of course everything has to continue to go on with academics.
Yeah.
So clearly, I know it was a standout semester in the fall for a lot of your student athletes. Do you feel like that's going to continue into the spring?
I do. Our student athletes are very disciplined, and our coaching staff and our athletic director, they're really concerned about ensuring that all of our student athletes get #1 in education. For Division II schools, it's a little challenging now with this transfer portal and the NIL agreements, and of course our students are not as competitive in Division II as they would be in Division I, but education first. That's what we focus on, and so hopefully we'll continue to keep our students and they know why they're here, which is education.
Of course, you talk about athletics, and your athletic director is Coach Watson, also the men's head basketball coach.
Yes.
You don't see too many people pull the double duty, but how impressed are you with what he's able to do with his team and then be able to make athletics work as a whole?
So actually shocked that it worked. He convinced me he could do it. I'm not so sure that I was bought in initially because I wanted him to win that championship and I wanted him focused on the basketball. But he's done an amazing job. As you can see, our student athletes, our Lady Bears now are wearing Ja Morant shoes.
Yes, ma'am.
So he facilitated that deal, and our guys will be wearing them also. And then he recently brought in, I want to get the amount correct, but I think it's $500,000. So toward the athletic program. So when you have an athletic director that's really, he can focus on the things that an AD needs to do, which is bring resources in. We're a small school, and so we can't afford a lot of the things that your Division I schools or larger Division II schools can do. So for us, anytime, it's a win, anytime you bring resources into the school.
Yes, ma'am. And let's also add the fact that you are also a private school, so it's not like you're getting, the state funding. Exactly. So clearly donations are things that make things matter. Of course, it wasn't long ago we saw Charles Barkley, provide a lot of financial support, and now seeing Coach Watson, bring those things in.
Yeah.
So at the same time, it's got to be great to be a Bear.
It's great to be a Bear. I went undergraduate to the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and to see all of the resources that they have. One of the things that I'm doing now is we launched in 2023 our comprehensive campaign. And so a lot of my time this year will be dedicated to bringing more money, funding into the schools and into our school. And so we're really excited about that opportunity. That's my main job, is to bring money into the schools. So I have fallen in love with Miles. I've been here now 4 years. I came here as interim, and for some reason they won't let me go, but I fell in love. and it's a remarkable experience to be here and watch the school develop and grow.
And Dr. Knight, we are very appreciative of everything you have been able to do. Of course, you've been able to work with us with the Black College Sports Network as well. So
we love it.
Absolutely. And of course, we got some other big things going on moving forward that Roy and I have talked about, but a great home schedule, and looked on the schedule, in a few weeks that school from down south is making their way up here on the 27th.
That'll be a big one.
Definitely will be. I remember last year there were a lot of events leading up until that game. Will that kind of be something similar this year?
I think we'll do some things, yeah. So just the environment's going to change, of course, when the students get back. You've got a handful here now. New students registered today, returning students registered tomorrow.
I remember those days.
Saturday and Sunday they move in. So I get probably Saturday's game will look a lot different from this, but we've got to do some things leading up. That's a big one for us.
Yes, ma'am, it is. It's a big one.
It's a big rivalry.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. The Miles Tuskegee rivalry goes back years, no matter what the sport was. And I mean, even last year, it literally came down to the final moments for both the men's and women's game. And of course, some very, very entertaining.
Well, we have this love-hate relationship with Rutherford.
Oh, yeah,
So it's a great rivalry, and I love to take digs at him, and when we can beat him, I'm really excited. So.
Absolutely. All right, everyone, we've been joined by Dr. Bobby Knight, the president of Miles College. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
All right.
Once again, that was Dr. Bobby Knight, the president of Miles College, talking about some great things that are happening here, and it's also exciting to be a Golden Bear. Back to the action right now. Lady Golden Bears on top 55-38. As we were going into the break for the fourth quarter, Miles ended that third quarter on a 12-0 run. We literally saw a 9-point lead blossom into a 21-point lead, and right now it's holding steady at 17 for Coach Asman and company.
Yeah, they were able to get out, and that's what they look for. They look to get out and get into leagues, because it's going to be difficult for any team in the SIAC to keep up with them once they get running.
Absolutely. And I think right now, Coach Asman is going to start to give some of the starters a break here and there within the next couple of minutes. Not saying that the game is truly at hand, but the lead does look pretty good. But hey, it's basketball. We see teams go on a lot of runs.
Basketball is a game of runs.
Absolutely. So taking the ball out right now is Leah Greer. She goes inside to Monty Williams. Williams misses the shot, but Tadaria Ashley is there for the putback and score. 57-38. On the other end, here's Chelsea Hill with the bucket. It's great talking with Dr. Knight, too. I really like the thing that she said they're implementing about, some more certificate programs that are coming here to Miles College.
Well, Mo, that's one of the things that I have been a big and vocal advocate for our HBCUs to get into. We were in this one particular space for a long time where, of course, the push was everybody go to college, everybody go to college, everybody do this. And a lot of folks forget that this country's middle class was built on trades.
Absolutely.
And
even a city like Birmingham, right here in the Fairfield being part of the Birmingham area, you can literally walk off of Miles College's campus and see the trade and infrastructures of the power plants locally. So, no, you're absolutely right. But
no, I mean, that's it. I mean, and now for them to be returning to that and to giving students, and like Dr. Knight said, this is for students and non-students, people who may have already been in the professional world that now need a change. They need to get some things and do some things different.
Yes, sir. So can't wait to get Dr. Knight maybe back on a later broadcast to see how the infrastructure of that is coming along. In the meantime, time to take a media timeout. 5:05 to go. Miles with a 15-point lead. We're back on the other side of the break.
At HBCUs, there's no limit to who we can be. Black and inspired and thriving. Black and magnetic and seen. From the classrooms to the quad, our passion is our purpose. We are leaders and legacy. So when you look at what we accomplish next, you'll know where it started. For who you are and who you want to be, we're here.
I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire.
Crypto is complicated, but as a tax expert with crypto experience, you can hand your taxes off to me. You do your thing, we've got your taxes. Intuit, TurboTax Live.
Pizza Hut's stuffed crust is the crust that made crust good. Topped and stuffed with over a half-pound of cheese. What are you so afraid of? Loving it? Original stuffed crust, just $12.99. Only from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
It's like a loop machine.
And welcome back to the Knox Wyndham Gymnasium. Miles on top, 57-42. Mo Carter and the boss man, Roy Evans, on the call. Here's Tadaria Ashley. She will kick it out to Madison Lee. Madison Lee back in the hands of Amaya Harris. And Harris tries to do a little too much dribbling and loses it as Juanisha Black comes up with the steal. As we mentioned throughout the broadcast, we have a number of broadcasts still coming up as Joanna Bell pulls up from the charity stripe and knocks down the two-pointer to make it a 13-point deficit for her squad. Lots of broadcasts still on the horizon. This Saturday, you'll see some more. You'll see some more blue and gold in this gymnasium as Miles College will play host to Fort Valley State, the other Southern Georgia school. The women's game will tip off at 2 Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, followed by the men's game, which is set for 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. You can catch all the action right here on the Black College Sports Network, on Facebook, also on MyJBN1 via YouTube. So we got that action. And then next Saturday, we'll also have more home action as Miles College will play host to Lane. The women will be at 2 Eastern, 1 Central. The men will be at 4 Eastern, 3 Central. Then on January the 15th,
the 13th, we actually do have the Morehouse game as well.
Yes, sir, we do. Yes, sir, we do. I don't have the master list in front of me. I got the Miles list in front of me, though, for sure.
My mistake. And I just thought about that, and I'm like, and who, again, is that Morehouse will be playing?
Actually, I have the master list now. You're talking about January the 13th, correct?
Yep.
Morehouse will be taking on Allen University. I see 2 p.m. I think that's a 3 p.m. Eastern time game. While Miles will take on Lane College on January the 13th. As far as Miles, the rest of the way, Monday, January the 15th, the day we will celebrate the life and legacy of one Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We will also have a game on that night as the Lady Golden Bears and the Golden Bears will play host to the Magicians of Lemoyne Owen.
We have a timeout, and the referee stretched it to immediate.
All right, so let's go ahead and just take that media timeout with them, and we'll give you more on the scheduling as we get ready to wrap up this game. We're back on BCSN next.
People think unusual circumstances means complicated taxes. But for a TurboTax Live expert like me, it just makes things interesting. So, give us everything you've got.
What if I'm a professional gamer with a ton of expenses?
If they help drive views, let's talk deductions.
What if I'm in a state with no income tax, but my survival videos are viewed in 38 countries?
I can help. And if this is a business dinner, save those jerky receipts. An interesting life can mean an even greater refund. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. Intuit TurboTax Live.
The Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal?
I think that's the point.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. On any unlimited plan, starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
And welcome back to the Knox Windham Gymnasium. 3:39 to go in regulation. Miles on top, 57-46.
Coach Skinner just called that timeout to talk to his ladies and wants to get them settled in and let them know, hey, listen, we are only down 11. We are still in this game, and you guys just have to play the defense that is supposed to be played.
Correct. And you got to remember, this was a 21-point game going into the fourth quarter. There's a ball that is tipped away and stolen by Melania Holmes.
And I think that is, that might be like the third turnover in a row for the Lady Golden Bears.
And there's going to be a foul. Right here to Daria Ashley picking up her third foul. So here's Albany State still with a shot, down by 11. Checking back into the game right now will be number 34. Oh, wait, never mind. We're canceling that check-in.
Coach Jasmine pulled it back like, no.
You know, coach has changed his mind at the last second, and it's going to be a foul right here in the paint. It's going to be on Amaya Harris. So, with that being said, Holmes is going to head to the free throw line for 2 shots. Holmes is 61% free throw shooter. Coach Pete Asman barking out the direction, saying, let's be disciplined down the stretch.
Yeah, definitely. I'm wondering if you heard him with that one. As we are close to the coaches, so we a lot of times do get to hear a lot of the instructions that they are giving to the players.
Absolutely. So here's Holmes sitting at the free throw line. Next free throw is up, and it is good. Now checking back into the lineup will be number 34. That's India Brown. Ball is knocked away by Albany State. It will remain with Miles College. Albany State putting on a little full court, man-to-man denied press. India Brown will actually take the ball in, and now she gets it back over to Falia Greer. Greer is going to run the offense. Greer's just going to drive in, and she's going to draw the foul, head to the free throw line. And if you're Albany State, especially Coach Robert Skinner, you do not like that decision, and here's why. Falia Greer is an 83% free throw shooter. She has not been shooting the ball relatively well today, but hey, you put that young lady on the line, and she does that.
Definitely, and I know we talked about that at the beginning of I believe it was the second quarter, that she actually got into her scoring, in her first score in the game.
Correct. That free throw just gave her 9 points on the day. Looking for number 10. And there it is. I mean, she's well under her average of 14.1 points per game. Really, if that's the case for just about everybody on Miles, as
they called a foul on that?
Yeah, they're saying that. So what they're saying is that Falia Greer technically tripped Chelsea Hill on the play.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the officials explaining it over to Coach Asman now. He seems to be a little bit more on the understanding side of things. But, you know, that's one of those plays, too, like it happened in a group to where the officials had the better eye than what we had it on this side of the baseline. As Chelsea Hill knocks down the free throws, and, man, we got a 10-point game with 2.5 minutes to go.
2.5 minutes, yeah. Again, this is as long as, this is what Albany State has to not do. They can't get into this foul game.
Yasmin Fairchild fouled India Brown basically as soon as she got the ball. India Brown's heading to the free throw line. She's a 71% free throw shooter. First free throw attempts of the day. And she hits the back iron and misses the first one. That plays in the favor of Albany State as Tadaria Ashley is set to check back into the game. But Brown is able to knock down the second free throw. Tadaria Ashley is going to check back into the game. Her and Nariah Slayton, they're going to replace India Brown and Amaya Harris. Surprising that Harris is hitting the free throw line, still with this game not really out of reach. But I will say this, Roy, if Albany State does, you know, get some quick scores coming up, would not be surprised if Harris makes her way back to the floor. On the other end, here's Chelsea Hill. Hill will kick it out over to Bell. Bell's got 16 seconds to go on the shot clock. Coming back to the top. Bell will launch a deep three. Misses. Rebound, though, Albany State, and we've got a jump ball. Possession arrow will go back over to Miles Collins. And just as I said, Roy, here comes Amaya Harris back into the game along with India Brown.
Yeah, and Mo, I can tell you, Coach Asman is going to go back and get a look at this play. Since we got a timeout, we'll stay here on that one.
Yes, sir.
This is that play coming up that we were talking about where Miss Hill went down and was tripped, you said is what the call was. And we actually get a pretty clear look at it. I think that's going to be one that the refs may have missed.
Yeah, Falia Greer makes the free throw.
She just kind of
It looks like she just lost her footing, to be honest with you. I mean, Greer was back there. Her legs were spread in a decent defensive stand, and I don't really see the portion that they're saying that she actually tripped over Greer's foot in the action in which Greer, quote-unquote, tripped her. Right. I don't really see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that on that play either. But, again, it happens.
It does.
They're not going to get the plays correct all the time. And, of course, we have the benefit
of the
replay being able to pull the replay up and take a look at those plays like that.
So here's Miles College taking the ball out underneath. Falia Greer is going to bring it up court. Greer trying to avoid the double team. She does. Gets it to Amaya Harris. Harris swings it back over to Greer. We're going to have more of a four-corner look to kill some clock. Here's Greer coming off a screen from India Brown. Now Greer goes inside, throws it back over to Amani Williams, who will lose the ball. And here comes Bell with the rock. Bell and the Lady Rams down by 11. 1 minute, 30 seconds to go. Here's Sappho. Her shot is partially blocked by Greer. Out in front is Greer if they can get the ball to her, but they cannot because there's a scrum on the floor. And really a scrum. Now the officials are really trying to separate these young ladies during the scrum. Coach Skinner's on the floor. And we've got several whistles. With the ball right now is Elisa Sappho in her hand. Coach Skinner's trying to really talk some sense into her in that situation. The officials are going to group up and discuss what they're going to call in that situation. There was a jump ball initially, but then as the officials were trying to tell the young ladies rest, they decided to do the opposite and keep on going. And you really had not only a scrum for a ball, but like it was a huge group of all the young ladies. The assistant coaches for Albany State were telling their players, don't go on the floor because that could lead to potential suspensions in the future. I know you see it in the NBA, but it happens on the collegiate level as well. So now the officials are talking it over to see what we've got going on.
You know these players want to be aggressive, but this is one of those situations where you just let the ball go once the whistle's blown.
To see what the officials are going to say. Now they're bringing in the coaches. All right, so just after hearing the officials talk at the score tables, it looks like we're going to have multiple technical fouls on both teams. 2 technical fouls on Miles and 1 technical foul on Albany State. So at the free throw line right now will be number 2. That's Joanna Bell. Her first free throw off the tech is up and good. As I mentioned earlier, Bell's a 93% free throw shooter, so these were money. Bell makes this a single-digit game now. It's 60-51.
But what they have to do is they've got to come down and get one quick right now.
Absolutely. But here's the thing. Here's the good thing about it. If you're an Albany State basketball player and fan, you get the ball back following this technical foul. So this possession, very, very important. And on the play right there, Saffold is fouled, so she will go to the free throw line. Falia Greer will foul her, so Saffold will go to the free throw line. So you talk about quick. They put up a quick shot. They don't get the quick bucket, but they do get a chance to get 2 points via free throws after this timeout, but we're going to keep it right there. 78% free throw shooter is Elisa Saffold, young lady from right here in the Birmingham area. Well, she might have a fan or 2 right in the crowd.
Right now, Coach Asman is definitely these young ladies focus.
You have to, because, I mean, not long ago it was a 21-point lead. Now it's down to 9.
Yeah. Right now, State got some confidence. They believe they can get into it. They believe they can win this game.
You know, and Saffold is another one of those young ladies who is well-versed when it comes to experience. She's a transfer from Mississippi Valley State, so she's got some D1 experience.
Okay.
She played ball at Ramsey High School. Oh, that's literally a stone's throw away from here.
Okay. So, of course, she wants to do well in front of the home crowd.
Correct. So at the line right now is Saffold. First free throw, in and out. She is a 76% free throw shooter. Second free throw is money, 60-52. Miles' lead is cut down to 8 with 1 minute and 8 seconds to go in regulation. Maya Harris is going to check back into the game. little full court pressure now for Miles. And the ball is tipped and stolen away by Albany State. And we've got another foul on the floor. So Albany State's going to head back to the free throw line. Amani Williams is called for a third foul on the evening. Going to the line right now will be number 5, Juanisha Black. So Juanisha Black has a chance to make this a 6-point game with still over a minute to go in the regulation.
Completely changing the complexion of this game right now.
First shot hits the back iron. Starting to hear some claps from several of the students who are actually here for Miles. You know, they're the ones that want to get away from home and decided to come back earlier.
Or it could just be new students who are registering today as Dr. Bobby Nicey.
They could be.
Although I would probably agree with your first assessment first.
Yes, sir. 60-53 is your score. 7-point lead for Miles. Here's Amani Williams. She'll get it up to Amaya Harris. Harris is going to try to dribble it out now. Gets it over to Falia Greer. That's who you want the ball to be in the hands of. Falia Greer, the best free throw shooter on this entire team at 83%. Greer with the crossover. Oh, she loses her balance and loses the ball. Saffold comes up with the steal. 40 seconds to go. Albany State down by 7. Here's Saffold. Saffold's going to take a 3 off the mark. Rebound, though, to Black. Black with the bucket. Albany State now trails by 5. Timeout, Miles College. 29.4 seconds to go. And this game has almost flipped upside down compared to when we were going into the fourth quarter with Miles on top by 21.
Definitely, Mo. And let's take a look at that last play here.
Here's Saffold. She's going to miss the three-pointer. Rebound by Black. Black just runs by our defenders and gets the ball in the bucket in the paint. There was no denying or anything of that.
At all. I know that Coach Aspen is not happy with that. That's got to be boxing out right now.
Correct. And one of the assistant coaches for Albany State checking to see how many timeouts are left. So here's the situation. 29.4 seconds to go in regulation. Miles College Lady Golden Bears on top 60-55 over Albany State. And looks like we're going to have another timeout, this time by Miles College. So as I continue to talk about it, our situation 60-55 is the score. Miles will taking the ball out. If you're Albany State, you initially are going to have to go for a steal. If you can't get a steal, then you want to put someone on the free throw line. The only person you don't want to put on the free throw line is number 0, Falia Greer, 83%. Actually, you don't want to put Greer or Harris on the free throw line. 83% for Greer. Harris is at 82% on the year. By far, 2 of the best free throw shooters in the entire SIAC.
And also what that means is that your defense, as they are doing this inbound, has to be impeccable. You are going to have to make sure that you find a way to keep the ball out of those 2 players' hands, even if it means freeing up someone else and giving them that position. Because right now, this is going to be the thing. But, of course, with that timeout, the ball gets advanced to the half court. So, yeah.
So Falia Greer will take the ball out. Of course, she's trying to get to Harris. Instead, she'll get it to Madison Lee. Now into the hands of Greer, and Coach Skinner says foul, and they've got to put Greer on. Well, no. Looks like they've got one. They got to still have a foul to give. Or wait. All right, they're double checking. Okay, Greer is going to go to the free throw line now. Yeah, we had the foul situation. Not correct on the scoreboard initially, but it's there now. So Greer's at the free throw line, 83% free throw shooter. First shot is good and money. Checking to the game right now would be, well, in just a second will be Kira Peterson for Albany State. 61-55 is your score. Miles on top. Make that 62-55. 24.7 seconds to go in regulation. Taking the ball out will be Wanisha Black. And we got a timeout on the floor, but we're going to keep it with them. Here's Albany State now. Same situation. You got to get down the floor, get a quick bucket, or draw a foul and get on the free throw line and knock down some free throw shots from Charity Stripe.
Well, it looks like Sappho has been giving a green light for the three. And she's been down, and I think that's going to be the first thing that they look for when they get out. They're going to try to get her open, get her a clean look at the basket, and hopefully for them that they're hoping that she can pull that off.
Now, Roy, here's the thing. They have not shot the ball well from beyond the arc. 1 of 13 on the day for a measly 7%. In this case, the number 7 is not lucky today for Albany State, as they are 1 for 7 or 13 hasn't been lucky. If you think about it, as they are 1 of 13. But the ball will be advanced near half court. Sappho will actually be taking the ball out.
Well, which actually the same thing that Coach did with Greer. That way it was easy for her to actually get the ball back.
Absolutely. So the inbounds goes to Peterson. Now into the hands of Bell. Bell's got 18 seconds. Bell's going to drive inside, and she's going to be called for the travel. Ball goes back over to Miles College. Good defense by Miles in that situation. .55. Miles on top by 7 with the ball. And they're going to get the ball inside, and there's going to be a quick foul. Madison Lee talking with the official saying that, hey, this foul should have been upgraded to something else because she's claiming that she was hitting the head as she drew the foul.
Well, of course. But she gets to the free throw line.
Yes, she does. Yasmin Fairchild will be called for her 3rd personal foul. Madison Lee, 62% free throw shooter, heading to the free throw line. And Lee looking for her 10th point of the game. And she's got it. A nice balance of points today between Miles. Greer has 12, Harris has 9, Lee now has 10, and Slayton has 9. 2 for 2 now for Madison Lee. Makes it a 64-55 game. Here's Bell pushing it up court. She'll get into the hands of Peterson. Peterson thought about a 3 instead. Bell's going to try to drive. Instead, she'll kick it over to Hill. Hill will pull up for the long 2. Shot is off the mark. The putback is also off the mark, and that's the final buzzer. So at the end of a hard-fought game, especially in the 4th quarter, it's Miles improving this evening to a 8-1 mark with a 64-55 break. We're going to take a quick break and wrap up today's game on the other side of that break.
This case study is what we're looking at. It's a very live case study to see if your premise in regards is more correct, that those opportunities will come. If Trey Aller continues to have the level of success, will those opportunities come for him? Or is this one of those one-off components of that? We've only seen three coaches essentially be able to lead and get a head coaching position outside of the HBCU sports since 30 years. It's Willie Jeffries and Coach Prime for the most part. So I just don't quite see the evidence that it is the case. We've seen a couple of get positions, which now Coach Willie Simmons, and we also have Jerry Mack. And both of those were, in terms of their success, they also have.
Welcome back, everyone, to Knox Windham Gymnasium, where your final score, the Lady Golden Bears of Miles, Albany State 55. We're now joined by the head coach of the Lady Golden Bears. That's Coach Pete Asman. Coach, congratulations on the victory, but I think we're all thinking the same thing. That fourth quarter really became a different monster in today's contest.
Yeah, in the third quarter, we got in a real good defensive rhythm where we really was putting stops together. I just kind of thought in the fourth quarter we got a little undisciplined. Turned the ball over a little too much, be real lax with the ball once we got that big lead and kind of allowed them to get back in the game.
Yeah, Roy and I were talking about it. All of a sudden, we saw a 21-point lead go to literally 9 points with about 2.5 minutes to go, and then things got a little chippy. You know, you had to pull your team aside. What did you let them know during that time out following, you know, the technical fouls and everything during that situation?
Just got to understand situation. We're up. There's no need to kind of engage in that type of that physical activity when we already got the game pretty much under control. They were going to have to do claw fight and do everything to get back into the game. So, yeah, they're going to do some things that's going to be unethical. They're going to do whatever to kind of get back into the game. And you got to understand as we're trying to, you know, put ourselves in a position to win the championship, those things are going to happen. And we got to hold our composure and make sure that, you know, we holding our own and staying composed.
Coach, it's been 3.5 weeks since your young ladies have actually even been in real game action. Do you feel like that was something that parlayed into somewhat of a slow start in the first half?
I definitely thought that had a little effect on, especially early on in the first quarter. Just being off that time, you never know what type of team we're going to get when we first come back. I thought we was in a real good rhythm leaving out of the first semester. So we were able to come away with a win, so that's all you can be thankful for in the end.
Absolutely. I know, of course, you know, your young ladies are going to go back. You're going to watch the tape, and then after that, you're back to action on Saturday when you take on the other Southern Georgia team in Fort Valley State. You faced that team many times. What do you expect that they're going to bring into Knox-Windham on Saturday?
They're a really good team. They're playing really good basketball right now. They're at top of the East right now. They got some real good players that he bring in, and he's Coach Robson. He's a really good coach. Like he really game plans against the team. He really does his homework. So I expect for it to be a real good matchup. But we're up for the challenge. We're gonna enjoy this victory right now. We're gonna get right back at it first thing in the morning. Put a game plan in, and hopefully we can be disciplined enough to execute a game plan and come out away with another victory.
All right, everyone, that's the head coach, Pete Asman of the Lady Golden Bears. Once again, they picked up a 64-55 victory this evening over Albany State. As Coach mentioned, Fort Valley State comes into play on Saturday. We'll have that game right here on Black College Sports Network. For the entire crew, we appreciate you joining us. We're going to sign off right now, but don't worry, we're back with men's action on in about 20 minutes, so stay tuned.